If you are new here and want to know about how I'm generally going about this review series, watch the overview of it already on the channel. Link in the description. While on their voyage, Luffy attempts to get some food after seeing a bird before being captured by it, while Zoro encounters a group of pirates serving under who is quite literally the Joker of the East Blue, the Clown Prince, if you will, Buggy the Clown. My god, I love this guy. Compared to who had served as antagonist in the previous arc, this is a significant leap in both creativity and entertainment. Being the first Devil Fruit user we see outside of Luffy, it's only right to assume that his use of the Chop Chop Fruit would result in a pretty neat combat dynamic between the man who stretches his limbs and the man who disassembles his own. Okay, spoiler alert, not really, but what is left to be desired in combat is thankfully made up for by the characters themselves, and surprisingly enough, the one thing tying them together. I'm not trying to repeat what I've said previously in regards to Shanks, but I do think some of what I said applies to Buggy as well. As members of a pirate crew during their youth, the two of them, despite their conflicting goals as pirates, seem to have a mutual respect towards one another, to the point where there's even a possible semblance of brotherhood between them. However, it's ultimately their differences that seem to have broken them apart. The greed and thirst for power to form a crew of his own within Buggy proved to be what broke him and Shanks apart. As a result of all this, not only is there a similar essence of richness and complexity to the character of Buggy to that of Luffy, though not nearly as present, but it also, to an extent, puts the two on opposite sides of a moral spectrum. One man with nothing but admiration for Shanks, and another bearing nothing but resentment towards him. You know, while we're on the topic of Buggy, why don't we take a look at his crew? Moji is fine. Luffy takes him out pretty quickly, so there's really not much to say about him.
I'm known as the Beast Tamer Moji, a member of the Buggy Pirates.
Whoa, that's a weird animal suit you got on.
That was rude! Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut!
Kabaji, a bit better. Serving as the first opponent, we see Zoro duel with in sword-to-sword combat, and it's a solid duel, but he's still taken out pretty fast. Although these two generally aren't anything too special, it is clever that they're also basically circus performers, a lion tamer and an acrobatic, thus technically making all of the Buggy Pirates an entire circus act. Alright, enough praise for the clown. Let's move on to someone else. It's made very clear from the start that there's much more to the character of Nami than what's shown throughout this arc. We're told why she steals from pirates, but we don't know why she holds resentment towards them. We don't know how she became such a skillful navigator. We don't know why she ends up siding with the newly formed Straw Hats in the end. All we do know for certain is that, like Luffy and Zoro before her, there's a reason behind her actions. A motivation intentionally left to be discovered for another time. I've gone this whole time barely touching the actual story of the arc, haven't I? So Buggy is terrorizing this town for the sake of finding treasure and to establish his dominance, while its mayor, though knowingly powerless against him, sets out to fight the good fight anyway. Moved by this, the Straw Hats, plus Nami, eventually put the end to the Buggy Pirates' reign. And there's a dog here too. I don't mind the material with Shushu. In fact, I think his story and presence here serves as some heartfelt and compelling motivation for Luffy, but otherwise it's pretty inconsequential. Accusing the Straw Hats of hurting their mayor, their townspeople promptly chase them back out to their ships. Despite all this, the mayor expresses immense gratitude for their actions as both parties bid their respective farewells. And thus, now with the Navigator as a supposed new member, the Straw Hats resume their adventure in pursuit of the Grand Line. Honestly, I didn't remember Orangetown being very memorable or entertaining at all on my first viewing. After giving it a rewatch for this video, however, I'm now confident to claim the opposite. There are factors that still fit into unmemorable territory for me, like all the Buggy pirates aside from Buggy himself, but generally speaking, this is some pretty solid material right here. The concept and execution of Buggy's character, and the choice to leave the context of Nami's presence out of her introduction are by far this arc's biggest highlights for me. The actual conflict, while nothing very resonating, I do think serves as a basis for how other local to nationwide to straight up global conflicts are handled going forward. I'm content with giving this arc a 7 out of 10. Again, outside of the characters introduced here, what mostly holds this one back for me is the lack of emotional resonance within the conflict compared to what's to come.